You may know me here today as Raj Singh, but when I landed for the first time in the South American country of Guyana with my musical band, they knew me as King Raj. And that was because it was our first time landing there, our first time on tour internationally to do a whole series of concerts on stage there. And when we arrived at the airport, we didn't go through the line that had a ton of people, hundreds of people on the line to go through immigration. Instead, we went through the dignitary line, the VIP line. Why? I guess we were VIPs there. Then we got escorted to a private lounge in the airport that none of us even knew existed. And while we're there having fun, they took our passports and they're getting it stamped while we're not even there. I had no clue that was even possible. That was my first clue that it was about to get real AF. Then I think we're going to the resort to change, but no. Instead, we go directly to the radio and TV interviews, 4 to 5 TV and radio interviews per day. And one time on stage, it's a big stage like this, just bigger, right? And it's massive amounts of people. 11,000 people in the crowd. It was like looking at a sea of people and you couldn't see where the ocean met the horizon. And the people were going wild for us. I mean, if we went close to the stage, they would just stretch out their hands to just touch us like this. And then if we did touch their hands, the girls were like, flattered, right? And then they were blowing kisses to us while I'm singing. I'm trying to remember the lyrics to my songs. If we went close to the edge of the stage, they would literally try to just pull us off and just attack us. I mean, they would take off our shoes, our socks, and that's another story. Another time on stage, another night, we're in the middle of performing. And then Mother Nature blesses us with rain in the middle of the performance. We had never experienced that before, so we had no protocols to follow. So I'm there, I'm playing the bass guitar, I'm getting shocked every time I pluck the string. And then anytime our lips touch the microphone, we just get shocked as well. And it was crazy fun until security came and yelled at us to get off the stage with their equipment. But that was an experience, right? Another night, we're on stage, and in the middle of performing again, we're at the height of the show. It's the climax. It is the main event. The energy is at an all-time high. The crowd has electrifying energy, and then all of a sudden, we hear this noise that goes boom. Say it with me now. Boom. One more time. Boom. And the lights go out. And here we are. Can't even see our hands in front of us on stage. All right? So what do we do? What do I do? Here I am in a third world country for the first time, growing up in Jersey City public schools and watching a little too many movies. What do you think Raj does? That's right. I jump behind the tallest speaker I could find and hide because I have some bling on, right? Some jewelry. I don't want to get robbed or shot in this country. And then one of my partners comes out to the edge of the stage and he starts singing to the crowd. And I come out too. The other band members drop their equipment and they come out as well. And we're all singing. And only the few people right here in this radius could hear us. But then it starts to trickle down. Next thing you know, it's like the domino effect. It starts getting louder and louder until thousands of people in the stadium are in the dark and they're all singing loud with us because a generator blew up over there and it has no power, no sound system, no lights, no nothing. But the lights eventually comes back on and the crowd goes ballistic. Why? Because here we are in the middle of a blackout for about 10 minutes or so, and yet we're still able to entertain and engage this audience because we did not let what happened on stage, our circumstance, we were not going to fail on that stage no matter what. And this is what I learned from that lesson. I say all that to say this. For me, to be a computer science background, computer science graduate, I don't know how many computer science geeks there are that can say they had that type of a rock star experience where they could use the other hemisphere of their brain, the creative side, not just the technical side. When I was working 40, 80, 100 hours a week at a job, if I was still doing that, I might have never known that I even had this talent or ability. So my question to you is, what hidden talents and abilities might you have that you may have not even discovered yet? That's why I find so much fulfillment in actually helping other people build their dreams, find out what their passions are, what fulfills them truly, because I know how much it did for me in my own personal life. I preach about, I love my life, and I do. I even recorded a song about it, especially for my parents' background of Trinidad and Guyana, where suicide has the highest rate than any other country in the world. And I love my life. That's the opposite of depression and suicide. My favorite quote is from the movie Braveheart that says, "Everyone dies, but not everyone truly lives." When I'm on stage and I'm singing, speaking, entertaining, inspiring, impacting people, I am truly alive. Can you feel that? Excellent. Throughout my experience, I've learned 3 keys that I've used to truly live a life that I've manifested that I can love. And for me to spread this mission more, because anyone can do it. I wrote a book on this, and I've spoken over 15 cities last year on this subject as well. Today I get to fly on private jets, and I connect with millionaires and billionaires even. And I don't say that to impress you, but I say that to impress upon you that if I can do it, then anyone can do it too. All I did was design the life I wanted to live. And that's what the D in TED stands for, design, right? So I truly designed the life that I wanted and reverse engineered everything backwards. So how did all this happen? It all started in elementary school. Even as a kid, I was a geek. I was all set to skip over the 2nd grade, and then my grades started to drop, and I lost the opportunity. My 1st grade teacher, Miss Murlock, who I had a crush on, but that's another story, she told me that it was because of my parents getting a divorce and what was going on at home. So then she took me outside to the hallway, and she kneeled herself down to my level and just looked me in the eye, and she said to me, the next word that would change my life forever. Changed my life so much that every time I'm at a crossroads, I just feel knocked down by life, I remember these words. She said, "Raj, you can either let your parents divorce, be the reason that you don't do well in school or in life, and be just another statistic as a troubled child of divorced parents, or you can act in spite of that and become a success story instead." Statistic or success story. Statistic or success story. Now, what was the key to that? The first key lesson was all about me having a shift in my mindset. A shift in my what? Mindset. One more time. Mindset. Thank you. Which is really my attitude about a situation. I remember when I quit my job, some of my friends tried to do that too and leave corporate America. And they quickly found out that it wasn't easy waking up in the morning and doing work when you didn't have a boss to force you to do so. Because they tried to fail. They attempted it, and they did fail. But whenever I did any big endeavor or I overcome some huge adversity in my life, I did not try to fail. What is the definition of dare to fail anyway? What's dare mean? To do something, to take that risk. What about fail? Fail is the unsuccessful achievement of a goal, to be unsuccessful. So I didn't dare to fail because it was do or die for me. I knew that a man or a woman with their mind made up is the majority. There was no try. I didn't have a plan B. See, what I realized is what you do after you fail that matters. And it's not a fail unless you stay there. And where the real magic is, that's when you're rock bottom, because that's where the actual growth happens to take place. But don't be fooled. Mindset is not everything. It's not good enough. It still takes action. Would you agree? And it takes a lot of it. Even if you believe in the law of attraction, in the word attraction has the word action. So it still takes action. And the action I took was I started investing in myself. I started investing and hiring coaches and mentors to get me to the next level. I became a seminar junkie. I did high-end mastermind groups and retreats And one thing I found that was the same common trait with the ultra wealthy people was that they all had something in common. And that thing in common is what I believe to be the ultimate solution to many of life's problems. And that lesson is gratitude. The lesson is what? Gratitude. Thank you. Having an attitude of gratitude. Because the lack of not having something and the fear of just not receiving it and being fulfilled can't be and live in the same heart at the same time. The lack of not having something and the, woo, it is right up here. Everyone laugh and take it out for a second. All right, here we go. Because the lack of not having something and the feeling of not being thankful cannot live in the same heart, in the same space at the same time. So how can we use this? There's scientific evidence that proves through many studies, which you can see online, that we can actually rewire our brain to be happier. How cool is that? How do we do this? Think of in the last 24 hours, 3 things that you're grateful for. Do this every day for 21 days, and you would have successfully rewired your brain to be happier. I do it in my cell phone instead of writing it down. That's probably the techie guy in me still. But today I'm fortunate to travel all around the world doing what I love, following my passion, singing, speaking, coaching clients. I'm known as Mr. Happy. Can you tell? But it wasn't always so. I remember when money was a huge issue in my life too. Growing up in a single parent household, I remember my younger sister and I always getting told to study hard, get a scholarship. Study hard, get a scholarship. And I did study hard. And I was one of over 100 other kids to receive a scholarship to attend a private high school that I badly wanted to go to, St. Peter's Prep. And I couldn't wait to just show my parents the letter after school. Never been so excited and then just felt like the rug got pulled out from beneath you. Well, that's what happened to me because my parents, hardworking people, they just couldn't afford the rest of tuition. So I went to the local public school instead. Then in college, my Rajmobile, as I called it, my cool car, that I hooked up and put more money into than the actual car was worth itself, it ended up getting stolen from me. And they left it in the middle of the street on fire, down to the bare metal skeleton frame. I lost everything. And when I graduated from the university, I had put most of that on credit cards and student loans, so I know what it's like to be just weighed down by debt and be harassed by creditors. It was depressing. But on the bright side, a few years later, I became a real estate success story. I was featured all over North America on TV infomercials. And that's pretty cool when my friends and family saw me on late night TV. And it was even cooler to say when I was trying to pick up girls. Life was great. I had my investments working for me. I was able to leave my job, owned over $3 million worth of real estate. Leave my job, owned over $3 million worth of real estate. I was financially free in my 20s. Life was great, yes. But then, that's what leads me to my third key point, which is called humility. What is it called? Humility. Thank you. There's a saying that if you don't learn humility on the way up, you will surely learn it on the way down. The real estate market, it just kept growing and growing until it came crashing down. And that year, I lost a lot. It was a tough year for me. I fought hard to save everything that I worked so hard for until then. Have you ever felt like you didn't come this far to only come this far? It was devastating to me. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. Then I went through the pre-foreclosure process. Didn't want to even tell anyone about that. Then when the mortgage companies would call, multiple times, every single day, stabbing at my pride and stabbing at my self-image even more. It was like this pain circulating through my entire body. But then I remembered that familiar voice. Statistic or success story. Statistic or success story. As a kid, if you asked me what was the worst thing to ever happen to me in my life, I would say my parents got divorced. As an adult, if you told me that, or asked me, as an adult, if you asked me what was the best thing to ever happen to me in my life, I would say my parents got divorced. Because it made me the person that I am today. My parents' divorce became my proudest badge of honor. Because I stopped using it as an excuse and made that the reason to be successful anyway. What caused me to see this new perspective? It was a shift in my mindset. It was having an attitude of gratitude, and it was having humility. I was able to use these three keys to rebuild and become even stronger today. And not just be Raj Singh, but to be King Raj, like you all know. But it's not just about me. We all have royalty within us. Look around, look at your neighbor. Aren't we all kings and queens? Yes, we are. We never know the battle that someone else may be going through. So make sure you hold the door open for a stranger just a little bit longer. Make sure you smile, even if there's no reason to. Start today. What if we could encourage more people to change their mindset and convert their past pains into their badges of honor that propel them forward anyway in spite of it? Imagine a world where we can move from being just another statistic to a success, to significance. We can. Start for you and I, right here, right now. So think of those past pains, those awful things that you've had in your life, those dark things that maybe you're ashamed to share with anyone like I was. Yeah, that thing, that exact thing that you're thinking of right now. Think of those things. What if they were all a blessing in disguise because it made you the person, the incredible person that you are today? I leave you with one final thought. One final idea worth spreading. In your past, what was the best thing to ever happen to you in your life? Thank you.